Top of the Saturday morning, everybody. Welcome to this baby we call The Sweat, a program we bring you every Saturday and Sunday morning here on DraftKings Network and VSiN from 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm Emerson Lotze. I'll be your host. Steve Buchanan is here. Julian Edlow, thriving in an excellent shirt this morning, my man.
Memorial Day has passed. It's time to bust out the party shirt.
Yeah, that's right. That is right. We are
Plain Jane over here.
Dude, this is a good color on me. My blue eyes pop.
I'm glad that you feel that way.
Yes, I certainly do. I feel good. We're in June. We have a lot coming up this month. We have a lot coming up in this show, folks. It's the final countdown. Jules, why do we have to wait until Thursday for the NBA Finals to tip? That is ridiculous. It should start tonight.
It is becoming, like the Super Bowl in some ways, where these dates are set in advance. It's become a big enough event that they have to follow that schedule. I, for one, as somebody that got more than 8 hours sleep last night for the first time in
I'm not going to lie, you do
ages.
look better today. You usually look like crap.
I don't mind this break.
He was still the last one here, though.
You were. You should be like 7:30.
So
We're here at 5 in the morning grinding.
I don't know why the hell you would want to do that. Just get here a little late and then go with the flow. I'm here for the week of rest. Let's catch up on some sleep, enjoy the outdoors, and Thursday night will be a big night.
All right, sounds good. We'll talk about a lot of athletes in different sports heating up as the temperature outside is heating up because we are now inside summer. Fast money. We are going to honor, what is your problem, bucko? We are going to honor National Game Show Day. We're going to bring in Jeff and Pierce a little later. Sources tell me Pierce is already freaking out because he doesn't have the questions ahead of time for our game show segment.
That's not how it works.
That is not how game shows work.
And serious question.
Yes.
Who makes these days and says this is going to be this?
Dude, it's all like for money. You know, that's what it is.
National
Donut Day. There's like 5 National Donut Days in the year. What do people do? They go out and they go to a donut shop and they eat donuts.
That's coming up end of the week, I think it is.
You're complaining about all these days and now you know what National Donut Day is.
I only know that because Dunks has been advertising it hard over the past week or so. But seriously, who comes up with these days? Today's going to be National.
I don't know.
Day.
I don't mind all the food days. There was National Burger Day this past week.
Right. Every day is something.
Every day truly is something.
How about National Take a Day Off Day? Where's that day?
Well, for Jules, that's almost every weekend.
That's ridiculous. You haven't been here.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't here last weekend because I was an officiant. I was an officiant, okay? I was officiating my sister-in-law's wedding. Now, all of a sudden, I got a second full-time job here. People are paying me to officiate their wedding.
National Donut Day falls on the first Friday of June every year. There is also a less popularly celebrated second National Donut Day on November 10th.
That's ridiculous. On November 10th?
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you got to do one in the summertime, and then you got to do
second less popular National Donut Day.
I bet it's just as popular as the first one. You know what else is popular? This segment, we kick off our show. Howard almost tripping over here on the camera. Okay.
Get that man a donut.
We are going to start this show the same way we do every Saturday and Sunday morning. Let's work up a sweat here. Kind of what's cooking in the brain, between the ears, and of course, Jules, we want to start working up a sweat here, talking Celtics and Mavs. The series is set. Star power galore here, big man. What direction you want to take us in?
Yeah, I think it's a fun series to break down because the Celtics are the team that is supposed to be here and had the easy path, and their 12-2 playoff record, people are saying, is almost inexcusable that they're just 12-2 getting here with the path they had and the injuries that their opponents had along the way. Then you have the Mavericks, who it was a wide-open Western Conference, but they were the 5 seed, and they were, in a pick'em series in the first round against the Clippers. They get through that in 6. They have to play the 1 seed OKC. They have to play a Minnesota team that everybody's high on because they took down Denver. They had a much tougher path, and they also weren't playing as well throughout the season. The trades that the Mavericks made throughout the season kind of gave them new life. At the same time, you look at their schedule down the stretch, they didn't play as many teams when they went on that run that they went on, as many good teams, I should say. But that kind of erases itself a little bit with the playoff run that they're on because they have been doing this against quality teams. So you have a matchup of a star-powered matchup with Luka and Kyrie coming into Boston, the side entertainment of Kyrie coming into Boston. And you have a Celtics team that's been on the door for 2 years and has not been able to break through. This team should have a championship by now. They were up 2-1 on Golden State with a big lead in Game 4 to go up 3-1. They lost that game and didn't win another game. They were down 3-0 to Miami in the East Finals in a series. They were massive favorites. They almost became the first team to complete that 4-game comeback if Jason Tatum didn't roll an ankle maybe early in that game. So it sets up a really good storyline. I think if the Celtics can't break through right now, this team isn't going to break through.
They'll be cursed. And I think Porzingis is going to be that X factor, which we didn't see him. They didn't need him in the Eastern Conference Finals here, but he is absolutely going to be that X factor in the finals.
Yeah, and he's somebody I'll touch on more with a prop bet for the series later in the show, but I think Porzingis is going to be huge in this series. He had 24 points in 29 minutes the one time that he played against Dallas this season. This will be a little over 5 weeks. It'll be about 5.5 weeks between when Porzingis strained his calf in Game 4 against Miami to Game 1 on Thursday night. So this is the break that they wanted for him. They didn't need him to win the East, and they proved that. Now they're going to want him. I think he should be back and at full health for Game 1.
Yeah, there's been so much talk about the Kyrie revenge, and then I feel like there's not enough talk about the Porzingis revenge going up against his former team there. So a lot of questions.
That's because it didn't end quite as ugly.
Yeah, that is that's an absolute fact.
I think we need
what do we need?
Over/under prop bet for how many variations of a Kyrie sucks shirt will be sold outside of the Garden for this series.
Yeah, they're always the T-shirt stand guys and gals who are out there are hilarious. They almost have a different, very vulgar shirt available to purchase before every game when he is in town. But a lot of questions we'll answer in an NBA segment with Jules coming up. Who's going to be the finals best player? X factor, who will ultimately win? How long will the series go? Jules and I will hang out coming up later in the show. Right now, what are you working up a sweat about?
Yeah, we're going to go over to the Tigers and Red Sox game that's going to be taking place this afternoon.
Right down the road from us here.
Correct. Wouldn't advise going to it.
Unless you're doing the 9-9 challenge, the 9-9-9 challenge.
What would that be?
The 9 beers, 9 hot dogs, and 9 innings.
I almost completed that in college.
We know. You look like somebody who has almost
You have to take
completed
out like a small personal loan for that.
Yeah. You got to go to the bank, say, I got to take out a small house. And, oh, really? Like, what's the house look like? Actually, it's just hot dogs.
It wasn't at a baseball stadium because that would have been more money than I had in my bank account.
Yeah.
At the time. Yeah, this was just on somebody's couch. Almost got that.
Did you know the person's couch you were on?
Yeah, we all did it.
Okay.
Couple guys completed it. Large majority fell short.
All right, well, why don't you complete your working up a sweat?
Anywho, talking about this Tigers-Red Sox game, really like the Tigers' money line for the first 5 innings today. We got Reese Olson going up against Cooper Criswell, who has really been kind of falling off over the past few weeks or so. But Reese Olson is someone that I'm surprised we're not hearing more about. This guy has just been absolutely stellar on the mound. Like right now, like he should be in a Cy Young conversation at some point here. Because if you look at his stats throughout the year, aside from the 6 runs that he gave up against Pittsburgh in the first start he's made, he's allowed 6 total runs since that start. We're talking about 52 innings pitched. If you take off that game against Pittsburgh, 6 total runs allowed by Reese Olson. If you look at the month of May, obviously we're in June now. Today's June 1st. So over that past month that he just pitched in May, 0.64 ERA, 192 WOBA against him through 28 innings of work. Throws his slider as one of his main pitches here. Red Sox have not done well against that pitch at all. As a team combined, they are hitting 195 against that pitch with the 254 WOBA. I think this is a really good spot here to back the Tigers on the money line. The first 5 innings, you're getting that at minus 125. This is a very lopsided pitching matchup, in my opinion, here with how well that Olsen has been. So give me the Tigers first 5 money line here today.
And whatever happens today, we'll talk about it tomorrow on the latest, greatest episode of the Since 1901, a Boston baseball podcast that you and I host together.
That's correct. Yep.
I look forward to it. What are you giggling about, buddy?
Great plug.
It actually is a fantastic plug. You know, we've been getting some pretty decent numbers, some pretty decent downloads on it. Yeah, because it's a 10-minute podcast. You can get everything you need to know in 10 minutes. It doesn't get any better than that, unless you plan on betting the RBC Canadian Open. That's a segue right there, folks. So Rory McIlroy, he's been in the news a lot lately. He is splitting from his wife of 7-8 years. There's some rumors of other things going on behind the scenes. But right now, I'm looking at him for a top 10 finish north of the border, plus 110 for a top 10 finish. He's 8 back of the lead right now. He's been bombs away north of the border. It's a tough strategy on this course because of the thick, wet rough, paired with you got these small, undulating greens. So the good news for him and other bombers.
What kind of greens?
Undulating. So
There's no way you know what.
Yeah,
Yes,
no way
yes,
you know
I
that
do.
word.
Yeah, they're almost like crowned greens, and there are undulations in the greens.
How do you spell that?
Okay, it starts with a U. All right, so good news for him. The weather looks good this weekend. The rough should dry out, so let's say he starts spraying it around a little bit. He'll be all right. He's fired a 61 on this course before, people. Not sure if he can have a high-end finish here. But the top of the leaderboard, if you've seen it, it is extremely soft. So you could see some guys, you could toss some darts on some guys on this leaderboard to win this thing right now. But I think a safe bet right now is Roy McIlroy. Top 10 finish there, plus 110.
To form or move in waves, fluctuate.
That's what I'm saying. Undulations in the green. You play golf. You sometimes play golf. You guys know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about occasionally. All right, you guys are the best. It's now time to talk about the worst. Which team Steve likes to win the least amount of games in Major League Baseball, plus other bets that tickle his fancy.
think I've been looking the worst team in probably in the whole MLB. So, you know, whatever happened, happened. So, whatever they want to do, I'll be tomorrow here if they want me, you know, whatever they want to do.
Yeah, so Jorge Lopez has been designated for assignment. So the Mets now have 7 days to trade him, release him, or send him to the minors. Lopez threw his glove into the stands, reliever here for the New York Mets, Steve, but he also afterwards releasing a statement here, and the 31-year-old veteran from Puerto Rico posting on his Instagram that he called himself the worst teammate, okay? Not the worst team. That's what he meant. A little bit of a language barrier thing here. And he also says, thanks, media, for making it worse.
Right.
So he also later apologized to the Mets and Mets fans in a statement on IG. IG's just the way to go. That's how you can contact everybody. What did you think when you saw this situation?
So this was such a weird...
It was really weird.
situation. So you have to set the scene first. First and foremost, he gives up a nuke, and I mean nuke, to Shohei Ohtani, okay? Nothing to be upset about.
There's nothing to be upset about. He hits nukes off of everybody.
No one's going to beat him, okay? You can't be upset about it. Then, following after that, there's a check swing call that goes in the, I think it was Freeman, in his favor. It was a check swing, and he just starts throwing a hissy fit about this. So they eject him. He starts walking back to the dugout. He throws his glove into the stands. Some unfortunate fan catches it because, like, listen, I know in a day and age of eBay, you're not going to fetch much for a Jorge Lopez glove, game-used glove.
I saw the tweet, too. Some guy was like, my buddy caught the glove. The picture was just
right.
like, it's on social media.
You got a cool story, but, like, this isn't a moneymaker, okay? Like, you're making more money off that Ohtani home run. Then, like, news comes out, like, his kid is very sick or something, too.
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of frustration building up and whatnot. So when he was talking to the media, they even asked him to clarify, like, did you say the worst team in MLB? And he said yes. So, obviously, language barrier and whatnot, it's just a mess. What this comes down to for me, this is a lot of drama for a guy who has a career 5.42 ERA and has had one good year in his career where he saved 23 games in 2022. Like, it's a lot of nothing about somebody who has not been effective in Major League Baseball for 8 years now. So, it is what it is. Weird story. Somebody unluckily, caught his glove, and here we are.
The Mets are not a good baseball team, so headlines they will be making are most likely to not be very positive. They're not the worst team in Major League Baseball, but as we kick off our Cover the Bases segment here, Steve, first base, fewest wins in Major League Baseball here, and maybe which team you would consider betting. So on the season specials tab on the DK Sportsbook, you can bet the Chicago White Sox, the heavy favorite right now.
Minus 200.
Minus 200, followed by the Rockies, the Marlins. This is a market you would think the A's would have been favored in at the start of the season. But right now, which team are you going with? And is the White Sox the obvious choice for you?
You know, we talked about this back in March.
And you gave a better number. There was a better number for the White Sox at that time.
I did not give the White Sox.
You did not? Who did you
give? I
give?
the Rockies, who had the second best odds at the time to have the worst record. And, we're kind of there if it weren't for how unbelievably bad the White Sox are. They are currently on a 9-game losing streak. They have won 15 games through 58 games so far this season. They're averaging 2.8 runs per game. They are hitting 214 as a club. That's combined. They are in danger as a team to be hitting below the Mendoza line for the entire year, and they have a 276 on base percentage. They actually are also chasing history.
Yeah, yep, I know exactly what you're going to say.
Andrew Benintendi has the lowest OPS in the league amongst qualified players since 1968. It is absurd how bad this team is.
Okay.
They are the only team in Major League Baseball with a wins above replacement WAR, very popular stat, that's in the negative.
I got one more for you that's in the
go ahead.
negative. They are on pace to set Major League Baseball history in the run differential department. All-time worst run differential, negative 349, set by the 1932 Red Sox here. White Sox on pace right now to finish it minus 361.
Insane.
Yeah, it's really bad.
It's so bad that, like, they have, like, obviously a good core of some players like Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez. Like, you have to trade these guys. Like,
fewest home runs in baseball, lowest batting average in baseball, lowest on-base percentage in baseball.
It's insane.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense why they're the worst team in baseball.
So right now, I would say unbettable,
Okay.
unless you want to eat that, minus 200. But like, it's hard to not think that this is going to be not going to be the worst team in baseball.
Okay, so as we approach now and touch second base,
Yep.
let's talk the division odds for the Braves,
Yeah.
because they've been in the news for some unfortunate reasons,
Right.
with Acuna being out. And obviously they're in a division with the Phillies, who I think are the first team now in baseball to hit 40 wins this season. What do you want to do here?
Yes, I mean, we've talked about this numerous times on the show now. And, this dates all the way back to when Spencer Strider got injured. And I said, look, I think you should be taking the Phillies now to win the division, because that is such a massive loss, because I was never a huge fan of that rotation. There was a lot of what-ifs in that rotation. To be fair, Chris Sale has been one of the what-ifs that's been working out extremely well. Like, he had one of the best months of May that he's had in his career. He's been almost untouchable. I think he finished the month of May with an 0.65 ERA. Like, he's been untouchable. But now we have a situation where the Braves had the second best odds in Major League Baseball to win their division. The Braves are now plus 175 to win the division. The Phillies are minus 225. So again, we talked about this a little last week. I said, there are probably going to be hedging opportunities. One of these two teams are going to win the division. There is no other team that is even close to being in contention in this National League East. It's not going to be the Mets. It's not going to be the Nationals. It's certainly not going to be the Marlins. This is a two-team race on June 1st already. So, I think that the Phillies are going to make it far. They have probably one of the most complete teams in Major League Baseball right now. They could use a back-end reliever. I think that's something that they should look at when the trade deadline comes around. But if that's the worst thing I can say about this team, you're probably doing okay. Where the Braves now lost Acuna, lost Spencer Strider. They really struggled in the month of May. Like, in the month of May, the Braves just went 13-14. Phillies just went 20-7 in the month of May. Vast difference between these two teams right now. Braves are scuffling. They're losing guys. It's hard not to like the Phillies right now.
And just something to consider, too, in terms of betting division winners at this point in the season. Last year, 4 of the 6 division leaders on June 1st, folks, went on to win their divisions. All right, let's get to third base, shall we?
Sure.
Skeens, Rookie of the Year odds. This is something else we seem to touch on every weekend here, because the numbers are just shrinking.
Right.
The odds are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and there's an example of that on your screen right now. He's currently plus 210, Rookie of the Year. What do you want to do?
So, look, if you took him before he made the first start when it was 10-1, congratulations. You're in a good spot here. I'm not looking to touch these odds right now. He's like plus 210 on DraftKings Sportsbook. But the other thing is, too, is that if you look at the odds and the board overall, the top 4 Rookie of the Year candidates are all pitchers. That's pretty unheard of in this day and age. But you got Imanaga's at plus 105, Skeens is at plus 10, Yamamoto, who the guy I like right now, is at plus 650, and then Jared Jones, the other guy on the Pirates that seemingly gets forgotten about because Skeens is kind of stealing all the headlines here, is at 13-1. Yamamoto's had a couple of clunkers as of late. Gave up 4 runs to the Giants and Reds in 2 separate starts there, which has kind of moved these odds a little bit here. But I still think Yamamoto is the guy that could end up winning the Rookie of the Year, because for as good as Paul Skeens has been, he really hasn't faced anyone that's been great. He's faced the Cubs twice, the Giants, and the Tigers.
Oh, man, he went off against the Cubs both those starts, too.
I mean, I just hyped up the Tigers for today, but, overall, they're not a great team. But Skeens really hasn't faced any tough competition. That's what I'm more interested in. What happens when he faces a team like the Phillies, or he faces a team like the Braves or whatnot? Those are the starts that I want to see, and that's when the odds are really going to shift here. It's either going to be for him or against him. So I'm not touching this right now for Skeens. I know he's a popular play, but Yamamoto, I think you're getting a nice price on him there at plus 650 for a guy who's been really, other than that start in South Korea, has been really good for the Dodgers. So I like him.
See a lot of people saying now Skeens and his girlfriend Livy Dunn are now Gen Z's new power couple, so overtaking Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. I don't think so either. I still think it remains Josh Allen.
Did you know who
and
she
Haley
was
Steinfeld.
before this whole
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. She's one of the most popular gymnastics athletes on the planet. Absolutely. She's a star on TikTok too. She's got 8 million followers on TikTok.
Oh, well, that solves it right
there. Skeens is the last person on the planet to not be on TikTok, by the way.
Oh, good for him.
Okay, so let's take it home here. Just what's your favorite bet overall on today's slate?
Yeah, I like going under on the Reds and Cubs game here today, under 7.5 runs. Seems
Picking
like
against the Cubs a lot today.
They're not very good. But Hunter Green going against Justin Steele. We have two really good teams going to the under. Cubs are 33-26-1 to the under. Reds 29-27-2 to the under here. Reds have really been a league average against lefties. That's not a strong spot for them. So going up against Justin Steele, then Hunter Green has been phenomenal. 64 2/3 innings pitched, ERA of 3.06, expected ERA 2.56. Strikeouts are down, but ground balls are up. Fly balls are down. All good signs. Give me the under in that game.
You know, Ellie De La Cruz is heating up. Maybe the Reds in there heating up a little bit. Let's talk after this break, 240 seconds. Who else is heating up as the summer is heating up because we are officially inside June? All right, how about this, guys? For the first time since he very nearly signed with the Giants last offseason, Aaron Judge and the Yankees are in San Francisco for this weekend series. And last night, he hits 2 more taters. You have the San Francisco Giants fans booing him left and right. Didn't stop him. He may be the hottest athlete on the planet right now. Look at his numbers from May. What he's slashing, 12 doubles, 14 taters, 27 runs batted in. Is there anybody hotter in baseball right now, young Steven?
I mean, I think you could throw Jose Ramirez in the mix there
that's
as
a good
well.
point.
He's been very, very good. But I think what makes those numbers more absurd is that when you look back at what he did in the month of April, where he hit 207, only 6 home runs, 6 doubles in that month, struck out 38 times over that span, and then to literally flip the switch, more than double his home run total in a month span, he's been absolutely phenomenal.
The team itself is a juggernaut too right now.
I whiffed on that team so bad. Like, I really thought that this team was.
Well, you're a
going to
man
struggle.
for admitting it.
Yeah, I really did, because it's the same team as last year plus Juan Soto, which is a huge ad. Don't get me wrong, but it was essentially everybody else, and that team struggled last year, and they've been anything but that this year.
And let's not forget, he steps foot inside the city of San Francisco, and he goes from Aaron to Arson Judge, right? So now for this segment, let's talk about who will be the Arson Judge of June here. So the weather's getting hot. We're about to sweat a lot outside. I've already put in my air conditioner. Have you guys put in your ACs already? Or are you elite and have central AC?
Yeah, you just turn it on.
Okay, so you're an adult. All right, so we're calling this segment.
I just see you going with an AC strapped to your back.
I had to bring it up from the
terrible
basement.
staircase
If
in
I
your
wasn't
little
as strong
apartment.
as I was, I'd have to hire someone
I bet
to bring
you
it
have
up.
a spiral staircase too.
No, I don't have a spiral staircase. I have dogs. That's not good for dogs. I would never. Seriously, we looked at a spiral staircase apartment once. I said, I can't do this because my dogs would struggle with this. So let's.
Instead, you struggle with things.
My
right, go ahead.
wife's like, after 2 brewskis, there's no way you're making your way down the spiral staircase.
2?
Yeah, I'm a lightweight. So let's look at some dudes here who are going to be heating up. Guys, you should consider maybe adding to your betting card in the month of June. So, Jules, let's go first here. You will go first, and you're looking at Luka. Luka ahead of Game 1 of the NBA Finals here, which is going to be Thursday in Boston against the Celtics. What do you got, kid?
Yeah, so Luka's obviously been on fire throughout the postseason.
Ridiculous.
Highlighted in his Game 5 win in Minnesota. He outscored the Timberwolves in the first quarter with his 21st quarter points. He led the series. Like, if you want to, and we'll talk about series props on today's show, on tomorrow's show, lead the series in points, lead the series in rebounds, assists, 3-pointers. Luka led in all that in the Timberwolves series. Every category you can think of. And Rudy Gobert was minus 1,400 to lead the series in rebounds. Luka led the series in rebounds. Tatum's a favorite, actually, in the rebound department, if you want to go with Luka as a dog again in this series. But if you're going to bet the finals, and, newsflash, people that follow my work know I'm probably going to be on the Celtics. I am going to give out the Celtics in our basketball segment. But if you are a Mavericks bettor, I'll just give you a better way to go about it. So Dallas is plus 175 on DK Sportsbook. You can get over $2, I think it is, $2.05 on Luka Doncic to win the MVP. I don't think Dallas can win without Luka being the best player on the floor. If you're going to beat a team like the Celtics, who have that unit of 5, like if you're drafting players in the series, I'll give you Luka number 1, probably Tatum 2, even if you want to go Kyrie 3. The next 4 are going to be
You got Tatum over Jaylen
5.
Brown coming off the conference MVP performance?
Yes, I have the first team All-NBA
point.
player over the player that didn't make any All-NBA team. Brown deserved the MVP.
He's underrated and disrespected.
Brown is good enough to be better than Tatum for 5 games, for sure. The Celtics, that's why you don't get cute and bet Tatum Finals MVP instead of the Celtics to win the series. Because the way the Celtics play, they can win 4 games without Tatum being their best player. He has to be a big contributor, but they can win 4 games without him being their best player. There's no way the Mavericks can beat the Celtics 4 times without Luka Doncic being the best player for them. With all due respect to a Kyrie Irving, who's literally the only other option. It's not like you can take a shot in the dark on a PJ Washington Finals MVP or something. Kyrie's the only other guy, and if Kyrie is Dallas's best player, then Dallas isn't going to win the series. So if you like Dallas, that's the way to go about it because Luka is scorching hot heading into the month of June.
Yes, he certainly is, and it's a hot month on the calendar for sure. Bukes, who are you looking at here?
So we're talking about somebody who's not on the White Sox, but he's hitting like he's on the White Sox.
Oh, no. We're talking about guys who are heating up here.
Well, that's what we're hoping for.
Fingers crossed. Let's go.
Corbin Carroll has been an absolute disaster. And for somebody who is heavily invested in him in the card market, this has been atrocious for 2024. But Corbin Carroll has just been so unbelievably bad. He comes into today hitting 197.
Dude, and last year he was so good.
So good. He's been so good. But now you're taking away, it affects the whole Diamondbacks lineup here because he's somebody that was getting on base, stealing an absurd amount of bases, and obviously getting this guy in scoring position. But if you look across the board, everything is just going wrong right now. This is somebody who last year could hit fastballs very well, hitting under 300 against fastballs, hitting just under 300 against breaking ball. The only pitches that really were giving him issues were off-speed pitches. You look at his numbers this year, he's hitting 190 against both fastballs and breaking balls and 212 off of off-speed stuff. So it's actually almost a reversal of last year. When you start looking at his advanced stats, he's definitely been getting unlucky. His batting average should be more in the 240 range, which doesn't sound good, but it's a hell of a lot better than hitting 197 on the year. So when you start looking at his advanced stats, it looks like he's maybe starting to kind of come around. He's hitting the ball hard. His expected batting average numbers are starting to creep up a little bit. I think June is where this really starts to turn around, but the bar is set so unbelievably low that, him hitting 220 at the end of the month would seem like a win at this point, but he is just way too talented, way too good of a player to be continuously hitting like this. This is just somebody who is just in an unbelievably bad rut right now that I think is going to have to start turning around this month.
Good grief, man. What a fall from grace for him, but maybe a rise to grace for Bronny.
I respect Steve, by the way, for going with somebody who is not hot and saying that they're going to kind of flip the switch.
Okay. So right now, in terms of Bronny and his draft decision, we got specials on the TK Sportsbook here. We don't really know if he's hot. We don't really know if he's not.
That's the comparison I was kind of drawing here. Luka Doncic, red hot. I think he's going to stay hot in June. Corbin Carroll, great player, not hot. Steve thinks he's going to be on fire in June. Bronny James, we have no idea about this dude. Yes, Emerson.
I just have a quick question. What do you think about him choosing to just want to work out for two teams and basically turning down NBA workout invitations here? It's you can't be doing that in your position.
So nothing about him is normal. Nothing about his upbringing is normal.
No.
Your name's LeBron James Jr. You got that label on you your whole life. Talent-wise, he's a solid player. He works on his shot, plays defense. He's an energy guy. I respect his game, but he's listed at 6'4". He's measured 6'1". That's one of the bigger gaps that you'll see in NBA Combine history. So he's a 6'1" shooting guard. 6'1" shooting guards don't exist. He doesn't have the skill set yet to play point guard. He could develop it, but he doesn't have the size to play two guard. So he's a tweener. These tweeners, they don't get drafted. But when your name is LeBron James Jr., and maybe he has a growth spurt, maybe he can develop his game into a point guard. His dad is arguably the best
that
point
late
guard.
in life?
He's 19.
Okay, I thought it would end around that neck of the woods.
But people grow at that age, so that's a stat.
You heard it here first.
Put it on the quote board, baby.
You heard it first.
People grow physically and emotionally. We grow as people.
That is true. I've grown.
So maybe he grows into a better player, but it doesn't matter. So is turning down all these workouts the right thing for any other player? No. For him, maybe it is. Could where he gets drafted come with his dad? Is that part of the package? This is the intrigue that teams are going to be looking at. And there always is the question mark of him developing. If he can develop into a legitimate point guard and take his game to another level because he's so young. So I'm going to say Bronny James Jr. heats up in June because he goes under his draft prop of 39.5.
Was it 36.5 a couple weeks ago?
I think we've had 39.5 for a while, but I've seen like there were 54.5s in the market.
Wow.
Which I took. They're gone. 39.5 seems to be the consistent number now, with even to plus money on that under. And I think the under's worth a shot. And it has nothing to do with what kind of player he is. It has everything to do with who he is and what he comes with in terms of intrigue, upside, all that stuff. So under 39.5 on Bronny James. He's going to have a hot month of June, and we'll see if that actually translates to the NBA.
When they're doing the 2-day draft like this year, right? I think first round,
They are.
June 26th, second round.
I don't know
June
why they need the second round to be its own day in the
It
NBA.
is. It
This
is
is not the NFL. Not many
super,
people are gonna
super
watch.
unnecessary.
I'll
But
watch.
for hockey guru Jeff Ulrich, it is extremely necessary that the Oilers finish off the Stars. Also, what he's looking at ahead of Rangers and Panthers tonight. Don't look now, or do people, but the Oilers one win away from their first Stanley Cup final appearance since the 2005-2006 season, thanks to a 3-1 win over the Stars in Game 5 last night. So entering that contest, neither team had scored a power play goal in the series, but the Oilers changing that in a major way Friday night. First period, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins cashing in on a net front rebound to open the scoring on a man advantage. And then again on the power play in the second period, that time Edmonton catching Dallas just napping in transition. And there is no one happier and maybe more nervous right now than Oilers superfan Jeff Ulrich, who is joining us here for a Saturday morning edition of Morning Skate. What's cooking in that head of yours right now, Jeff? Are you a little on edge? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Describe your feelings to the people at home curious about your feelings.
Nervous? No, man. Did you not see the game? We absolutely dominated them.
Yeah.
I mean, the series is over. Nothing bad can possibly happen to the Edmonton Oilers from here on out. And I mean, look, obviously, as a fan, as someone who's a little bit biased towards the Oilers, yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, that was one of the best games that the Oilers have played all year. They don't always show up for 60 minutes. In fact, they usually like to take the last 5 minutes off of games, which is why they're such an exciting team. But, the Oilers do get it done. They've gotten it done to this point. And, man, the stats were telling us, if you look, like the Oilers were dominating play 5-on-5. They hadn't even started to heat up on the power play, as you mentioned, which they did in games 5, which I think really bodes poorly for Dallas. They've been the better team thus far. And quite frankly, this series could be over. So, you have to be confident as an Oilers fan going to game 6. But at the same time, it is the Oilers. Stuart Skinner can be Jekyll and Hyde. That's going to be, I think, the biggest thing in game 6. Can Skinner keep it together? Because if he does, I really feel like the Oilers have a great shot of winning that game.
Okay, and how do you feel about McDavid and Draisaitl's performance up to this point in the series too? And really, that defense, if you look at it as a whole, that Oilers defense was stifling last night, dude. The Stars had just 10 shots on goal through 2 periods.
Easily the best the Oilers defense have played overall. Matthias Ekholm's having a fantastic playoffs, especially just a fantastic series. Evan Bouchard is absolutely looking like the next Ray Bourque out there. In terms of McDavid and Draisaitl, this series for McDavid has been just the way the game has gone. Dallas is a better skating team. They play a little bit more wide open than Vancouver does. You can just see it. Connor McDavid's up and down the ice. He's just been a far more effective player than he was against Vancouver. Obviously, he had some big moments. He's always going to have big moments. He's Connor McDavid. But I think this series has really favored McDavid, just the style of it. Draisaitl coming through with a big goal 2 games ago, but maybe he did have a little bit of injury issues going in the round 2, so it could be slowing him down a bit. But again, did bounce back with a goal. This series has been really good for McDavid, and I think it's going to help him going into the finals as well if they can get past that game 6 or potentially even a game 7.
Okay, so before we get to game 6 and potentially game 7, which we'll talk much more about that series tomorrow on this show, Jeff, we got a game tonight, and the Rangers season is on the line tonight. Game 6, Eastern Conference Final. And it's crazy too, Jeff, because despite playing arguably one of their best games against the Panthers on Thursday night, the Blue Shirts dropping that heartbreaker in a 3-2 loss in Game 5, and that was on their home ice at Madison Square Garden. Just what are your thoughts in general on this one tonight, back down in South Florida there in Sunrise?
So, look, it's hockey. Anything can happen. The Rangers do have Igor Shesterkin, potentially the best goalie in the world here. But I think that's a good way of putting it, that the Rangers threw everything they could at the Panthers. The big story in this series before Game 5 was the Panthers were out shooting the Rangers. The Panthers were carrying the play heavily, dominating play 5-on-5. The Rangers were getting by with duct tape and floss and just holding things together, basically, with shorthanded goals, with just very timely rush goals that just came out of nowhere, so to speak. So in Game 5, they dominated play more, but then they got beat. It just feels like that's a really deflating loss for a Rangers team who was already kind of getting beat just on the stat sheet. So I don't think it just doesn't seem to me like a spot where the Rangers are going to be able to bounce back.
Okay.
But like I said, Shesterkin is there. I would expect the opposite to happen, where the Panthers come out, they really take it to the Rangers early, and if they get one or two by, I honestly think like they could win this one going away. The Panthers on home ice have to know
Yeah.
this is their chance. They do not want to go and gamble in a 50-50 game 7 with Shesterkin in New York 2 days from now. So, yeah, I feel like the Panthers are going to be a very good play here.
Okay.
We got a couple ideas for betting as well, how to approach it.
Okay, so let's talk that. What would be then, I guess, your top bet tonight for this game in South Florida? Sounds like you're really counting on Florida to be celebrating its second consecutive Cup final appearance there.
Yeah, and it obviously I think a lot of people are going to be on Florida. It makes sense. It's a chalky pick. It's recency bias. We just saw them win a game that they shouldn't have, and now they're coming home to Florida. But I think if you're playing Florida, honestly, as I mentioned, like if Florida wins this game, let's think of scenarios. I really think they're going to come out, pour it on early, try and get that early goal. I think you play the puck line at plus 154 on DraftKings for them to cover the minus 1.5. I know this series has been close, but it's a game 6. It's an elimination game. If the Rangers are down early, you're down late, with some time left, they're going to pull the goalie earlier than usual. There's going to be that empty net opportunity. Don't forget, the Panthers had a 3-1 lead in game 5, And, the Rangers got a late goal just to make it 3-2, but the Panthers almost covered that puck line in game 5. I think they can probably do it in game 6. So I would play it big with the Panthers personally. You could also take the regulation line at minus 105, but I kind of like playing the puck line, to be honest. Plus 154, still really good odds. And I just think that if the Panthers win, you're probably going to see them potentially just pull away late, either with an empty net goal or just because they're already up multiple goals.
Okay, are there any other game bets you like here before we start diving into some props?
I think for the game, like the total has been, I would stay away from the under here. I know the under has been a cash machine for this series. Again, though, Florida could come out here and just grab a couple quick goals. Like if anything, I would actually lean towards the over. I don't think I'm going to bet it. I'll just bet Florida. But if I was leaning total here, I'd actually lean the over in this one, just with that potential for some empty net goals late.
Okay, in terms of somebody scoring in this game, is there someone you like to tickle the twine this evening?
I mean, I like betting Florida props, goal props just in general. They have so many good players who get tons of shots on net, and oftentimes their odds will fluctuate. You know what, though? I mean, this is a big game, and I'm it's not even really the odds. I mean, I still think we're getting a fair price, but Carter Verhaeghe plus 155 in a game where he can send the Florida Panthers to the Stanley Cup. It's the guy who leads, all Florida Panthers playoffs goals scored for the franchise. He's had a really solid series. He's already scored 3 times. I think Verhaeghe at plus 155. Again, it's not the biggest number. We've seen Carter Verhaeghe go off at like plus 190 in these playoffs, but you know what? In a big game like this, I'll trust Verhaeghe to get it done. I think if you want to go a little bit further back, Sam Bennett is now centering a second line as well. He's had a couple good games in a row now, so plus 310 for Sam Bennett. Those are 2 guys I got my eye on, but like the Verhaeghe narrative here, I guess, in a big game 6.
Okay, anything else before I ask you an RBC Canadian Open question here? Do you have any other hockey bets?
Yeah, I look, if we're talking Rangers and we're going to play the narrative, the Rangers we don't like them. Why not go under Chris Kreider points? Kreider's scored points in 1 of 5 games thus far. He's been basically invisible. Under 0.5 points for Kreider, minus 105, still the favorite. I think it's a great bet, to be honest. He really has not done much. He's only kind of gotten special teams goals like that last game. I think if Florida wins, Kreider probably stays off the score sheet again. I just like the odds on that bet quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, you're just a dude who is thriving this weekend, Jeff, because you've got Edmonton doing its thing, 1 win away from another final appearance here, and then you also have your nation's Open going on north of the border. The top of the leaderboard of the RBC Canadian Open, Jeff, it is soft. So are you tossing some darts here on some guys thinking they can make a move on moving day today? Leaders are at 10 under par.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you could see some players make some movement. I actually, again, it's Canada, it's Canadian Open. I mean, I think Corey Connors at plus 2,500 is still pretty interesting.
Wow.
I mean, this is the dude who's hitting the ball so well right now, gaining 7 strokes on approach in his last 2 events. He didn't play too poorly the first 2 rounds at -3. He's a few shots back, but this on this short course, if Connors just sinks like a few putts, and I know that's something we say about him every week, but if he does it, I mean, he could literally like shoot 7 or 8 under on this course. It's so short. He's such a good ball striker, so accurate with those irons that I think Connors is definitely worth a look. Tommy Fleetwood's sitting there too at -3.
Of course, there it is.
Well, I mean, look, I think those are the 2 guys most likely to come out, though. I mean, look, Fleetwood, I know he never gets it done, but if you're thinking about guys on moving day, I think Connors and Fleetwood are kind of like
all right, Jeff,
the names that you want to target. So
we got to go to break. Thank you so much. Thank you kindly. We're back to Boston NBA Finals next. 2 of the sweat is underway, and there is no better way to kick things off here than diving into the NBA Finals. It starts Thursday. I originally thought it started Tuesday. I was making plans to hang out with friends, and you're like, hey, man, just the finals start Thursday. And I said, all right, so I canceled my plans.
I would love to see you
just me
try and attempt those plans by yourself on Tuesday night.
Me showing up to TD Garden and be like, man, there's nobody here. Wow, NBA.
Not much buzz outside the building today.
The NBA is dead. Okay, so anywho, we got the Mavericks after they blew out the overrated Timberwolves. Sorry, Bailey, on Thursday. The date against the Celtics have been set. So now it's time to start looking ahead. We're going to get some predictions out of you. We'll get some of your best bets currently on this Saturday before Game 1. Like, who will emerge as the best player? Who's going to be the X factor? Who's going to win? How long is it going to go? What will the reaction be by Celtics fans when Kyrie is once again floating around inside TD Garden? Here is the reaction from the Celtics basketball team.
Listen, he's a great player. He's done a lot of good things, I think. Just how he's carried himself, how he's played this postseason has been one of the fun things to watch as one of the themes in the NBA. So he's a great player.
Playing with Kyrie was very special. He's the type of player that just opens up a lot for everybody else, and I benefited a lot from that, in his time that he was here, and our fans, they care about the Celtics, they care about Boston, and this has been spoken about already, but when he left, it wasn't ideal for everyone here. So I know the fans, it's the finals, regardless of who's coming in and who's not, it's going to be lively.
Listen, Kyrie, his return to Boston is going to continue to be a huge topic of discussion. He is an elite scorer with championship-winning experience, and just he and Luka combined in the Western Conference Finals, Jules. I don't know how the hell you stop this train, this absolute freight train, these guys averaging almost 60 points combined together here. And I know the Celtics have had recent success against the Mavs. Playoffs are a different beast, though. These are the final 2 teams standing, and we talked about it on this show the past few weeks, Jules. Like, Kyrie he's not been that distraction. He's kind of portraying himself as this new man. There's no off-court drama surrounding him like this season. He's just balling out. How the hell do you slow down 2 guys averaging almost 60 points a game combined together?
Yeah, and I've given Kyrie his props on this show for settling in and not just not being a distraction, but not trying to take away from Luka Doncic. He's settled into being the second best player on his team.
Yeah, that was big of him to kind of accept that role, for sure.
Yep. So Kyrie's on top of his game right now. Luka's obviously on top of his game. 2 things here. Number 1, this will be the ultimate test for Kyrie. Is he this changed man?
Yep.
We're about to find out, because if he can keep his cool in Boston, then he can keep his cool everywhere. You may remember the series that the Celtics swept out the Nets. The Nets beat the Celtics in 5 in 2021. And since then, Kyrie Irving is 0-10 against the Celtics, including a sweep by the Celtics against the Nets in 2022 before he departed. That was the series where stuff was getting thrown at Kyrie. He was flipping the bird to fans, doing the crybaby stuff when the fans boo him. If he's going to have this whole back and forth with the crowd, then maybe he regresses a little bit. But if he's past that, and he's 1 for 1, he deflected the question when Ernie Johnson asked him about it, or gave him something to talk about in the post-game Western Conference Finals champions ceremony or whatever, trophy ceremony. So he's 1 for 1 in deflecting. But we'll see if he can keep carrying that on. In terms of how you stop that duo, if you're the Celtics, you have a lot of guys on defense that you can throw. Jaylen Brown historically has been pretty decent against Luka Doncic. You probably start there. You probably start with Drew Holiday on Kyrie, and you can move other guys on. Jason Tatum will get some time on Doncic. Derek White will get some time on Kyrie. You just throw different bodies on them, and what you really can do to make them slow them down, hopefully, you're not going to stop them, What Minnesota didn't do is make them work on defense, gave them opportunities, particularly Luka, to rest on defense. Celtics need to, especially with the 5 guys they have on the floor when Porzingis is out there, go at those 2 guys, particularly Luka, make them work on defense. Hope that takes away from some offense.
Because they're not necessarily known as like elite defenders. Not that defense is a huge thing in the NBA. What would be huge for the Celtics and what will be big for the Celtics is Kristaps Porzingis returning. How does his return to the floor for the NBA Finals against his former team, the Mavs, how does that alter the course of the NBA Finals?
Huge. The Celtics got there without him, went 12-2 in the East, as they should have, and I would pick them to beat Dallas without Porzingis. But what Porzingis gives them on the floor, he gives them a presence in the paint defensively that they didn't have. He's better than Al Horford in terms of switching a lot of those pick and rolls. And he gives them more depth. Those Luke Cornett minutes that turned into O'Shea Brissett minutes, that turned into Tatum at the 5 with Sam Hauser on the floor minutes. Like, all of those go away because now Al Horford eats up all those backup big minutes and Porzingis is out there with your starting 5. So just the trickle-down effect, as much as Porzingis' impact on the floor, is as meaningful as anything. And I'll translate this into a series prop. You can bet player averages for the series in the NBA Finals. I wanted to try and take a crack at one of these long shots to lead the series or anything like that. Nothing jumping out quite yet, but plenty of time to work on it. Porzingis' points per game in this series is 15.4. I will go over 15.4 on Kristaps Porzingis, who averaged 20.1 points per game in the regular season. Against Dallas, he matches up well. He had 24 points in 29 minutes, the one game he played against Dallas in Boston. He was 8 of 14 from the field, 4 of 8 from downtown, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. He's going to stretch the floor. He's going to knock down threes. And he's been off, like I mentioned at the top of the show, he's been off for 5.5 weeks now when this series will have tipped off. Plenty of time to recover from this injury. They did not rush him back, force him back early. So I'm going to operate under the assumption that he is full health and that he's going to have a major impact on this series. We're coming off a series against Indy where Al Horford was shooting 12, 14 threes a game.
Yeah.
Put Porzingis into that role, a much better shooter, against this Dallas team that you want to pull Lively and Gafford away from the rim. I think Porzingis should have a really good season, and he's priced to be playing hurt, and he shouldn't be.
It's a 3-point heavy attack from Boston. I think they had a historic 3-point shooting season as well. So maybe that obviously will play a crucial role in them winning the NBA Finals, but how many games does this thing go?
Yeah, so I'm betting it 2 ways in terms of the Celtics. And the Mavericks are becoming a trendy pick here. Just listening to national stuff, I was listening to a radio show on the way in here.
Really?
Both guys on the show picked Dallas to win the series because of the way Luka and Kyrie are.
Was it a local radio show?
It was not a local. This is national.
Oh, really? Wow,
So,
big
I mean,
national
locally,
guy.
people are
You
going to
don't
be a little
support
higher on
local.
the Celtics when we're here.
Okay.
But the local station was playing the national show because we drive here so freaking early.
Well, not you. You show up at 7:30.
And they were still playing, well, at 7 a.m. the local stuff started. But,
Okay, thank you. All
I was
right,
driving
continue.
there. It was, so anyway, you're making me lose my train of thought. People are picking Dallas. I ran a Twitter poll yesterday. Who wins the NBA Finals? It was like close to 50-50. It was like 53-47, something like that. I think the Celtics win this series. I don't think it goes 7. Both teams are really good road teams. Dallas has had a really great road season in the postseason as well. Celtics undefeated in the postseason on the road. However, the Celtics are 43-6 at home this season. If they can protect home court and win games 1 and 2 of this series, they're going to take one in Dallas. So I have laid the Celtics minus 1.5 games at even money. You see there, the over 5.5 games is minus 150. I don't have as much of an opinion on that because I'm going Celtics in 5 or 6. I would lean to where the juice is there and go over 5.5. But I'm laying the 1.5 games with the Celtics. That's even money. That's to get it done in 6 or less. And again, if they have a closeout opportunity that they fail in at home in Game 5, I hope not because I'll be there. I would rather them close it.
Oh.
But you won't be with me.
Oh.
I like them to close out in 6 on the road because they've been such a good road team all season long, and it's translated to the postseason. The other way to go about it, cover yourself a little bit if it does go 7, but still win if they take the series, is Celtics Game 1 in series double result. That's minus 130.
Yep.
It buys down that 215 price tag on the series. Celtics have done well with these layoffs. They were off 7 days going into game 1 of the first round, 6 days going into the second round, 6 days going into the third round. They're off 10 days this time around, but they went 3-0 in those game 1s at home. I think they protect home court here, beat a team that they beat twice during the regular season, and if they get that game 1, then you got Celtics minus 130 to win the series sitting in your back pocket.
I think a lot of these national guys think they're giving the series to the Mavs because they're expecting when these games get tight, you got Luka and Kyrie will be just more than enough to make more plays than Tatum, Brown, and White to win the series. A lot of people picking this thing in 7. So it's just, what's your approach for player props here? And then feel free to give out a game 1 bet if you got one.
Yeah, player props I'm going to look at a little bit. Like I said, the Porzingis seems to be undervalued because of the injury. Jaylen Brown's a guy that's been starting games off hot, particularly at home. So I'm looking at him first quarter. He's back down to 5.5 first quarter points. I like him to go over there. But I'm going to Old Faithful here in terms of a game 1 play. Been playing it for 2 years with the Celtics. First half team total, over 57.5. It's even money on DK Sportsbook. They should be able to score on Dallas. This is going to be a series with pace, a lot of 3-point attempts, and they've gone, the rust time off. They've gone 3 for 3 this postseason in terms of hitting that game 1 first half team total at home. So I'm going to say they go 4 for 4 here, get to at least 58 points in the first half of game 1 on Thursday night.
All right, good stuff. You're not going to game 1?
I'm going to game 1.
All right, I will see you there.
I will see you outside the arena if you go and take in the atmosphere.
And then
I'll say bye.
All right, knock it off. From the hardwood to the pitch, we got ourselves a classic David versus Goliath meeting in the Champions League final. Christian Polanco from the Cooligans will join us live to help us navigate the football as life landscape. Big afternoon on the pitch here, folks. Champions League final going down. Dortmund versus Real Madrid. Real Madrid vying for its 15th Champions League title. First since, 2022. It's been a while. Meanwhile, Dortmund could win their first Champions League title since 1997. Damn, I was in 7th grade at that time. Christian Polanco from the Cooligans, which all you guys and gals watch here on DraftKings Network, is joining us now to help us navigate the football is life landscape. What's going on, man? How you been?
I'm chilling. Happy to be back. Yeah, I am. Excited about the Champions League final. I'm excited about TST next week. Which I'm playing in. Yeah.
What's going on with that? You've been training hard for this. Can you explain this to people at home watching who have no idea what you're talking about?
Yeah. So TST is similar to the TBT, right? The 3v3 basketball tournament. It's the same people involved, but this is a 7v7 soccer tournament. There's a men's division and women's division. Each side, winner of each side wins $1 million.
What?
A whole $1 million. And I'm a stand-up comedian who also does a soccer podcast, and I am playing in this tournament. I am absolutely stoked, really nervous. I don't want to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure, but we have a pretty good team, so I'm excited about how we can do in this thing.
All right. Are there other big names, other celebs like yourself in this thing?
Nobody bigger than me, obviously.
Yeah,
but
true.
There's, Chad Ochocinco is playing. He has a team on there. JJ Watt, a bunch of Pat McAfee has a team. There's legit stars, people who have won titles, MLS Cups. They are all there, and me. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, yeah, I'm rooting for you. I'll give you my Venmo for sure. Real Madrid, Dortmund, they've been training hard as well. Champions League final here. Everyone's describing this thing as like David versus Goliath. How intriguing of a matchup is this?
Yeah, this feels like it sort of feels like the matchup people didn't really want, right? Because Madrid was playing against Bayern. People would have thought like the two German teams playing each other at Wembley would have been really exciting. But Real Madrid is Real Madrid. They always find a way, especially in Champions League. There's something about their manager, Carlo Ancelotti, his philosophy is just, y'all know what you're doing. Like, go have fun out there. And he's not all about intricate, very specific tactics. He's like, I know that my players can express themselves in a way that will help us win, and that's exactly what happened. So, obviously the heavy favorites are Real Madrid, but Dortmund have been the surprising thing for them. Defensively, teams have not been scoring against them very much in Champions League. In Bundesliga, been a kind of a different story. They've not really looked great in their league. But in Champions League, they've just found a different gear. So it's not impossible that this could be a low-scoring game. Can they hold off Real Madrid the way they held off PSG? It's not impossible. But yeah, Real Madrid, you have to pick them if you have any sense in your mind, because they're that good.
So outside the Real Madrid fan circles, do you feel like this underdog story, is this something that a lot of soccer fans around the world are kind of backing the little guy here to end that 27 years of hurt?
It's interesting. I think Dortmund they don't have the same sort of, I don't know, like the Red Sox not winning a World Series. It's not that terrible for them, but they're underachievers. They're a team where people have the perspective of like, oh, that's a stepping stone. You go there to just like get some reps in and stuff like that. And this is one of their opportunities to really make a mark on what the footballing landscape can look like, and them being like a bigger player in it. So I don't know, the storyline itself doesn't feel the most interesting storyline is that Jude Bellingham, who's the midfielder for Real Madrid, he was sold from Dortmund to Real Madrid. There is a clause in that deal that if Jude Bellingham wins Champions League, Dortmund gets like $20 million.
Damn.
That was just part of the deal. So there's a weird thing is that if they lose, they also win. Do you know what I mean? They win a huge sum of money. So that's been the most like the oddest storyline about this. But they obviously do want to. They'll win more money if they win the title. But it's an interesting part of this whole storyline.
So are you more excited for Lenny Kravitz to be performing before the game, or the fact Jay-Z is going to be there in the stands?
This is an interesting. Which when it comes to Champions League, I mean, if you go on Twitter. You will see that Europeans hate the festivities around their final. Yeah, they don't like I think it was Camila Cabello performed last year, and they were just like, "What the hell is this? Why is she here?" It was before the game. It wasn't even like a halftime. They just hate the Americanism of putting on a show. So look, I haven't seen Lenny Kravitz perform in a long time. We'll see what he got. But I can imagine that Europeans footy fans are not going to be excited about it.
And then everyone thinks Real Madrid, and then also like all these rumors, or it looks like it's going to be confirmed here soon with Mbappe like joining the squad here. I guess Real Madrid plans to announce his transfer despite his ongoing PSG contract. Can you put this move into American football terms for us to help us understand how big of a deal this is?
I mean, I don't necessarily think it needs to be needs the comparison, because it's not like, I mean, you could say a name like Tom Brady going to the Bucks, but it's not that, because it is Tom Brady after winning 3 Super Bowls and then going to the Bucks. You know what I mean? He is the, I would argue, the best player. I guess I don't want to say the best player right now, because he has not won Champions League with PSG, and that you can argue it's the team, the players that are around him, the coaches that he's played for. But Kylian Mbappe, he was supposed to be at Real Madrid 2 years ago, but PSG did not let him go, because why would they? So essentially, this is, I mean, Real Madrid already an incredibly strong team. But this is a move that he's always wanted. If you see old pictures of Kylian Mbappe, he has Real Madrid posters in his bedroom. This is a dream move for him. It's going to be announced very, very shortly. It would have been interesting because he wanted to win the Champions. He wanted to beat Real Madrid. There would have been such a great storyline if that could have happened. But he's going to go to this team and dominate. The team is going to be absolutely spectacular. The interesting part is, who is Real Madrid going to let go? Who's going to be on the bench for them? Because once you have Kylian Mbappe on your team, he plays wherever he wants to play.
Yeah, a lot of tournaments going down. As you also have the Columbus Crew here trying to win the CONCACAF Champions Cup as well. But I want to ask you about Messi. So he's obviously doing his thing in MLS, and he's going to be playing in Copa America later this month for Argentina. So they're plus 175 favorites in the tournament. ESPN's Roberto Rojas wrote about Messi's grueling travel schedule here and concluded that if he played in every match for Miami and Argentina in 2024, and we put a graphic up on the screen for people watching right now, he would have clocked in more than 87,000 miles in total of travel, nearly 3 times around the world, and 20,000 more miles than Taylor Swift travels in her Eras tour. Have you ever seen anything like this? And how much do you think it could affect him?
Look, all it says is, when is the Messi World Tour happening? He can, if Taylor Swift can do it, why can't Messi? They when it comes to load management, Messi is the most valuable sports asset in the world. We know how much eyeballs and attention that he brings. You want him on the field. Inter Miami have been very careful with when they play him, where they play him. He didn't even travel to Vancouver in a recent match because they play on artificial turf. So they sold out the stadium because all the Vancouver fans are like, "Oh, I'm going to go get to see Messi," and people are obviously quite upset when they don't. So I don't think it's a look. We all know these are the last 2 maybe years that he has before he retires. They're going to be careful. They want him to play for Argentina. It benefits everyone if he has a good Copa America. He's going to miss a bunch of games also while he's playing miss MLS games while he's playing at Copa America. But no, he is just the most important asset for David Beckham and Inter Miami, so they're going to be as careful as possible.
I mean, the guy is absolutely thriving down there in South Florida, too. I just noticed that he was in a trailer for like the new Bad Boys movie coming out, which was the first time for a lot of people actually heard him like speak English. Like, it's very rare to just see him talking on camera in general, but we wanted to show the trailer.
I call him the Duolingo.
Yeah.
That's what I call him.
Love it. Christian, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Appreciate it. Congrats on the new kid, too, by the way. Happy first birthday to him. We're going to celebrate National Game Show Day coming up next year on The Sweat, folks. You don't want to miss it. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Sweat where we are celebrating National Game Show Day.
Wow.
Very, very excited for this. Very excited for two new faces to be joining the program as well. So we are.
You know what? I'm actually a little disappointed in you.
Why?
You're going to be a game show host, and you didn't bring any props or like.
I forgot,
this is your
dude. I've
jam.
got a family. I got things going on in my life, man. I had to play golf yesterday.
No thin microphone. Nothing.
We're going to, because I probably wouldn't have been reimbursed for it. I'm not spending my own money on any game show stuff. I'm just going to be serious and real and open about it. So out of all the game shows, we are choosing to honor on this game show, National Game Show Day, which Jules and Steve loves all of these national made-up holidays, like Donut Day coming up on Friday. We're going to go family.
Don't forget about the less popular November 10th Donut Day.
Correct.
We're going to go Family Feud style. And everyone knows and loves Family Feud. We're going to go the fast money round. So at the end, because you don't watch TV, you're a loser. I will take on the role of Steve Harvey. You four.
Why didn't you grow a mustache?
We'll take on, because my wife hates facial hair.
Come on, man.
All right.
Devote
And there's
yourself a little bit.
already been rumors of one of these teams tanking.
Wow.
Steve and Jeff are going to be paired up as a team. Julian and Pierce will be paired up as a team.
That's a hard
They're
team.
going to be asked the same 6 questions, one at a time. You cannot repeat your teammates' answers. Points are based off a very in-depth poll of the DK office, okay? Yep. And the team with the most points accumulated at the end will win the game. It's fairly easy stuff. Steve and Jeff, you guys are up first.
Okay.
I'll start with Steve. I'll ask him the questions. Jeff is off in his soundproof booth, okay? We will make sure we have to move Jeff to the waiting room so he does not hear Steve's answers here. Let me know when we are good, producer Slates. We are good to go. So, Steve.
Yep.
Here we go.
All right.
90 seconds on the clock.
Okay.
2024 World Series winner here.
World Series winner, Phillies.
Okay. 2024 AL MVP.
Juan Soto.
Okay. 2024 NL Cy Young.
Dylan Cease.
Next season's NBA MVP.
Oh, crap. Jokic, yeah.
Okay. Next season's Stanley Cup
Pronunciation.
champion.
Stanley Cup?
Stanley Cup champion. You're a big hockey
Who's
guy.
Oilers? They're in it right now, right? Sure.
Okay. Team that will make the college football playoff Final Four.
I'm going to look at Julian while I say this. Georgia?
Good one.
Oh, good.
All right. Those are his
I'm
answers.
not supposed to be
Those are
helping
his
you.
answers.
No, I wanted to see your reaction.
All right.
to it.
All right. And producer Slates, I did not write those down, so let me know if Jeff, as we release him from his soundproof booth, so he did not hear Steve's answers.
Right.
Now, Jeff, we will ask you. Jeff, we must get Jeff ready. But
See,
again,
I'm nervous
Jeff cannot repeat the same answers.
See, I'm
you
nervous because there was a lot of MLB questions. I don't think.
I mean,
Yeah, Jeff's an idiot.
there's a Canadian baseball league. I'm sure there is. I'm sure he has a
Yeah,
minor
they're
league
called the
team
Blue Jays.
down the street. All right. Jeff Ulrich, are you ready to go? Good.
Not really, but yeah, let's go.
Here we
Let's do
go.
this.
90 seconds on the clock. 2024 World Series winner.
God. Atlanta Braves.
2024 AL MVP.
He's never going to get this.
AL MVP.
AL, American
God.
League.
Aaron Judge.
Oh, okay.
National League Cy Young Award winner this season.
This one's good.
Cy Young Award winner?
Yeah, it's for a pitcher.
It's a pitching award.
You can't give him that.
Thanks. I wasn't sure if it was a pitcher. Zach Wheeler.
Oh, good.
All right, wow. Next season's NBA MVP. Next season.
Giannis.
Next season's Stanley Cup champion.
Carolina Hurricanes.
A team that will make the college football playoff Final Four.
Dear God. Ohio State.
Okay. All right. All right.
Good partner.
All right. How do you feel your teammates
Good
did?
partner, yeah.
Okay.
He
All right,
actually guessed like all the opposite things of Steve. That
No,
are, like,
that's
high on
actually
the odds.
impressive.
Yeah.
I didn't have to say, give me another answer or anything like that. So, well
I told
done.
you guys we were going to dominate.
Right.
I mean, he shouldn't be any shock here.
He did.
You
He
and
did
Pierce
say
are
that
going
during
to
commercial
suck.
break. So right
Yeah,
now,
no, I
folks,
hate this stuff.
we
I know I'm gonna
are
suck.
tallying the points right now behind the scenes to see how many you two ended up racking up. Again, it's based off. I don't know, what was it, like 22 people or something in the office?
Oh,
Amir's-
2,200.
22. Well, typically it's like 100 on the actual show. And we are waiting for producer Slate's 148 points for you two. 148 points.
And the best part is that whoever has the most points gets tomorrow off.
Good answer.
That's
Good
true.
answer.
And either way, as the host, I get to take tomorrow off. Now we go to team two, which
this
is
has
made
gotta
up
be
of
good.
Julian
I
and
can't wait
Pierce.
for
So,
this.
guys, if we could please put Pierce, stuff him in his soundproof booth. He is gone. Julian Edlow, you are up. You have 90 seconds, on the clock.
Excuse me.
Here we go.
Steve Harvey never burps. before he
Jules,
asks questions.
2024 NL MVP.
Mookie Betts.
2024 AL Cy Young Award winner.
Tyreek Skubal.
Next season's NBA champion.
Boston Celtics.
Oh, such a homer.
Jesus, dude. Next season's NHL Hurt Trophy winner.
Yes.
Jesus.
This is
Connor McDavid.
Okay.
Oh, not bad.
2024-2025 Super Bowl champion.
Oh.
So
Kansas City Chiefs.
Be creative.
next
I'm
season's
trying to get points.
next season's NFL MVP.
Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my God, guys.
Dude, just be creative.
Just get this
Why
guy
do I
a-
want to be creative? I want points.
I know,
guy a
but we
package of
want
chalk.
entertainment.
Right.
We want entertainment.
Entertainment would be me and Pierce winning after all this crap.
All the chalk answers you just gave, we're gonna keep hearing the next answer sound.
Yeah,
for Pierce.
that's true. So, and I will say, a source has told me that Pierce was extremely nervous about this game. And he even requested the questions again before this show today.
Oh, my
So
God.
Pierce is now out of his soundproof booth. And we will see how you perform, Pierce. You have 90 seconds. I do not think you will need all 90 seconds.
He might.
Just keep
You guys
your
are-
breakfast down, Pierce.
You guys are buried right now in points. I think Julian did a pretty fantastic job. Let's see how you do.
Chalk City.
Here we go.
Point of the game.
Bring it up. 2024 NL MVP.
And I can't. Chris Sale.
Wow, I like that one. 2024 AL Cy Young.
Lugo.
Okay. Next season's NBA champion. Next season.
I got 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Let's go with Boston.
I don't think you can answer that.
Anything else?
You have to go another team. Jules has already
Thunder.
answered that. Okay. Wow, I like that. NHL Hart Trophy winner for next season. So the MVP.
McDavid.
Did he answer
Yeah,
that?
I said that.
I
I
said
said
that.
All right, you
Keep
got to
going.
go another. You got to pick someone else.
Pasternak.
Okay, I like that one.
That's a guy.
Super Bowl champion. Next season, Super Bowl champion.
Chiefs.
Nope, another one.
Bengals.
I like
that one.
All right, now NFL MVP.
Joe Burrow.
Oh, I like that one too.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, all right. Hey, this is when you go, good answer, good answer.
I think he did fine.
Oh, really? You don't seem very confident.
yeah,
in
you-
your
Outside
teammate
of
here.
Chris Sale winning MVP, I don't think that's how it works.
They overvalue wins.
No,
Cy Young,
it was
I-
Thunder.
Cy
He went
Young,
with Thunder,
sure.
Slates. He went with Thunder for his NBA champion. So we
Was
have
that MVP, not Cy Young?
Yeah.
Yes.
no. Hey, listen. Anything can happen. And honestly, some of the people who received this survey, who I know closely, aren't the smartest people in the world. There may be a Chris Sale answer on there.
Like you.
We've
Yeah,
got
I
to
feel
say.
about that.
So you telling us you answered Chris Sale?
I did not. I'm actually.
He put Trevor Lawrence for NL MVP.
I was yelled at.
Yeah.
They immediately came. Producer Drew yelled at me
if
and
I-
said, "Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, Super Bowl champion MVP." I said, "Yeah, dude, it's what I believe. It's my answer." So
If I had
anywho,
known that Emerson had gotten this survey, I definitely would have thrown in the Jags.
No,
like the
but
World Series champion.
I may have been the only one. So first team had 148 points.
Correct.
Slates is tallying behind the scenes right now. We have a winner, I'm being told. It is Julian
my
and Pierce.
God.
What was their point final, Slates? Wow! 256 points for our winning team
You left
versus
out the part-
148.
You left out the part where
Because
producer Slate
everyone
said that
answered
Julian
the
cleaned up.
Chiefs
Right.
And Mahomes. We got
That
Jets,
is
Steve.
but see, that's not fun.
It's
All
just
right.
it just goes to show
Winning
that
is fun.
People who work here don't watch sports. That's what it comes down to.
Congratulations. Congratulations. And that right there is how we have honored National Game
As
Show
I've
Day.
always
Wait till
said,
Friday,
I'm
guys, and we honor
a game show
National
guru.
Donut Day. We're going to wrap things up here on The Sweat with the cool down coming up next.
Show sucks.
All right, all you tennis people, we've got a great day of
There's tennis
said
people?
sport. There are tennis people out there. Jeff Pratt here at DK Network really loves
cares?
tennis. I know. All right, so we got a great day ahead here on this Saturday. Third round of the French Open concluding from Paris. As the days go on, the matchups, they're going to continue to get better and better. We got two of the world's 11 best players in action to begin this slate, like Mr. Medvedev as well. Zachary Cohen.
Okay.
I was gonna say I want you to read all the names.
Oh, Daniil Medvedev. I know.
People know Medvedev.
Everybody knows Medvedev, dude.
How about the rest of
Zachary Cohen of VSiN. He's a big tennis guy, dishing out some of his favorite plays for this first Saturday slate in June.
The Sweat, how's it going? This is Zachary Cohen, senior editor of vsin.com. What's some French Open plays that I like for you? For today, I like Talon Griekspoor plus 2.5 sets against Alexander Zverev at about even money odds. Zverev has won 2 matches in a row against Griekspoor, but both of those matches featured tiebreakers. They really could have gone either way, and that's not that surprising because Griekspoor is a really good server. He's going to have his chances to win matches late in sets. He's just a dangerous player, and I do think that Zverev has played with his food a little bit too much in Paris. I know that he won a title in Rome, 2 weeks ago, and I beat Rafael Nadal in the first round, but he did give Nadal some chances in that match. He also gave David Goffin some chances in their second round match, and if he does that against Griekspoor, he's going to pay. So I do like Griekspoor to win a set in that match. And then for Sunday, I like Ange Jabeur as a small money line favorite against Clara Tauson. You're only getting these prices on Jabeur for a little bit longer. Jabeur is a 3-time Grand Slam runner-up, one of the best players in the world, as evidenced by her number 9 ranking in the WTA. But she struggled towards the end of 2023. It kind of continued into 2024. But she's quietly finding her game over these last few weeks and has looked really good in Paris. And I just think that she has a little too much overall game for Tauson. Jabeur is a drop shot, some slice she could hit for topspin. Tauson's really out there looking to hit winners, and that's not an effective strategy on a really slow court. So I do think that Jabeur is going to get the job done as a small favorite. And then just something else to keep an eye on. I think that Jannik Sinner is still worth a futures play to win this tournament if you can find it at around plus 350 odds. I gave this out at plus 460, and you're only getting that number because he headed into the tournament with a hip injury. But Sinner is the best player in the world by far. He has a good clay court game, and he has not showed any evidence of having a hip injury since arriving in Paris. I think he has looked excellent. I think he'll beat Corentin Moutet on Sunday, even in a hostile environment. And then from there, I just really like his chances of going on and winning the tournament. I just don't think that, there's enough certainty with Novak Djokovic or Carlos Alcaraz to really rule out Sinner at a big number. So I do like that play if you're looking to get in on the futures market. But make sure you check out all my daily best bets at vsit.com, and I hope you have some success at the French Open.
Thank you, Zach. Appreciate that, dude. And now we will continue our cool down here as we got about 7 minutes to go in the Saturday morning edition of The Sweat. We will return tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, live right here on VSiN and DK Network. A couple things we wanted to hit on here. Jules.
I got one thing before.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, God.
I figured, since it was National Game Show Day, when's National Tennis Day? Because one of our segments can be we try to name these guys, read these guys' names.
Looking it up right now.
The guys at the French Open. But there has to be a National Tennis Day.
National Play Tennis Day is February 23rd.
All right, so put that on the calendar for next year.
We'll just have Steve go outside
Well,
on
hold on.
February 23rd and play tennis.
We just exited in May National Tennis Month. So now that it's June,
now we have
tennis.
months? Now we have months?
I know,
Okay.
dude. I can't wait for National Donut Month. That's going to be epic.
Big
and
month
producer
for us
Drew
here.
and Slate's bringing in donuts for us all the time to thank us for our hard work here on air and putting this network on our back. But Jules, you become a big WNBA bettor all of a sudden. The WNBA is hitting viewership highs on multiple networks, and it's not all just because of Caitlin Clark, although the Fever and the Chicago Sky are in the standalone game today. Only game on today's slate here. And that's Angel Reese with Chicago, too, by the way. You have a bet in this game?
I've been betting WNBA for years.
Well, you've been more vocal about it this
You
year.
guys just haven't been paying attention. Everybody's been more vocal because of the Caitlin Clark factor. Good game. Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark rematch. Obviously, Angel Reese won it in the Final Four a couple years ago. Caitlin Clark got the revenge this year over LSU. I think it's Angel Reese's turn in their first WNBA head-to-head game. Sky down from 3.5 to 2.5 on the road here. I will say, like, the Storm, a much better team, were opened laying 2.5 at the Fever the other night. It got bet up to 5.5, and the Storm absolutely crushed the Fever. So maybe a little bit of an overreaction. That's why this number is coming down. But I still think the Fever are a fade until further notice. They have Caitlin Clark, they have Aaliyah Boston, but they just don't have very good players, and these young players need time to develop. People keep forgetting about that. If this was the NBA, the team that gets the number 1 pick, Wembanyama in 15 years might be the greatest player in NBA history. Spurs have the 4th pick again this year. Like, it's the same in the WNBA. These girls are going to take time to develop their games, and they're playing against the Sky, not supposed to be a great team this year, but a better team. So they're 3-3. They've played above expectations. The Fever are 1-8. It's going to take them some time to figure it out. Again, better play when you have a veteran team like the Storm. But the Chicago Sky, minus 135 money line, I am on that today.
All right. Well, we'll see what goes down. Again, only game on noon tip. Okay, so that's coming up here in just
couple hours.
Little over 2 hours from now. We're inside 100 days until the NFL season kicks off here, Bukes. We're seeing some dudes get paid, including Jalen Waddle. His contract is done here, the wide receiver for the Dolphins. Tons and tons of weapons and targets for Tua here. What does this contract mean for maybe other wide receivers out there? What's next for the Dolphins? What does it mean for Tua?
Yeah, I mean, I like what the Dolphins are doing here. I mean, they're really kind of locking up their core offensive guys because now, barring any trades or anything like that, Tyreek and Waddle will be playing together at least for the next 3 years. You got Tyreek Hill locked up until 2026. You got Waddle locked up until 2028. Waddle's a couple of years younger than Tyreek Hill, so now, got to get Tua in the mix there too as well. But, I mean, I like the Dolphins' offense, fast-paced offense here, a lot of speed on that team, and it makes Waddle one of the higher-paid wide receivers in the league right now. 8th highest guaranteed value of the contract, I should say. $84 million, which is just under Calvin Ridley. Nico Collins got locked up, I think, a couple of weeks ago too as well. Love that for the Houston Texans. But just like seeing these big impact playmakers get these big deals, long-term deals to stay with their teams. I think it was the right move by the Dolphins.
Yeah, Jules, a fair deal here?
Yeah, I mean, everything seems to be a fair deal now when you sign these contracts because the way things trend, even if you are... Look at the Jaylen Brown contract in the NBA. People are like, worst contract in NBA history. Jaylen Brown for a season is the highest paid player in the NBA. How can Jaylen Brown, he's not near the best player in the NBA. How can he be the highest paid player? Now we're talking about players in the NBA, like with a new deal, getting like 80 to 90 million when like SGA signs a deal, and Jaylen Brown is going to be like a steal. So it's just kind of repetitive to me. Like, yeah, it's a fine deal. I don't care if you overpay a little bit because if you believe in the player and this is a good player, then in a couple of years you're in great shape.
All right. Well, how important is it for them to get a deal done here with Tua very soon? Like latest report a few days ago was they're pretty far apart here.
Yeah, I guess it depends how you feel about Tua. Is Tua your guy? And a lot of teams will say, we'll keep what they have and stick with their guy and say Tua is going to be our guy rather than look to, reload at the quarterback position. I think Tua's fine. I think it's hard to just kind of, when you have the receivers you have, say that we're going to look for a new quarterback because what if you don't find one? So I think Tua probably gets a little bit of a bad rap. I would be fine moving forward with him, and they're going to have to pay him more than he's worth at the moment. But by the time contract's coming to the end, it's probably fine.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, he must be salivating with some of the contracts that quarterbacks have gotten here with, like, Kirk Cousins at 35. Who just signed? Goff earlier.
Yeah. I mean, now questions about...
$12 million, like... so what do you give Tua, who is much younger than both of those guys, right? So it's like he's going to get a crazy contract, and it's probably going to have to be in like that Burrow-Herbert range, which is too much in my opinion, but like that's kind of where the market's going right now, which is a great for Tua, but maybe not so good for the Dolphins at this point.
Yeah, we'll see also what happens with Dak, Trevor Lawrence and the Jags.
The Dak one I think is really going to be one that you're going to want to watch.
Okay, well, the one thing
because the Cowboys shouldn't do it.
One thing you are going to want to watch, Steve, are the possums in your shed, in your backyard.
Yeah, this has become a problem.
So what is this? Like it happened like yesterday or something?
Yeah,
the kid says there's a rat in the shed. You go back there.
The other
This
day,
is a thing?
This is in my shed right now. The other day, my son was in the.
Emerson lived there all winter.
Those were my friends. That's my family. Not to mention the TO jersey hanging out. They're like hanging in the background here.
Yeah, we're trying to clean out the shed, and I just put that aside. But yeah, he went in there. He said, there's a rat in here.
This one looks a little chunky.
It does, yeah. He said there's a rat in here, and then I moved something, and now there's 6 possums in my shed right now.
And Steve was talking off camera. He's going to be feeding them because the animal control refuses to come and pick them up. Well, congrats on the new additions, man.
Thanks.
We're really, really happy for you. We're happy that all of you stuck with us, hopefully, throughout this 2-hour program. We're back tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time.